I know. I know. I know. There'll be a lot of comments below this video. But I want to say, I've been questioned many, many times over. So which Canadian team do you think has the best chance to win a Stanley Cup of the teams in Canada? And I've answered honestly that I think Toronto in the East would probably be the most likely, because Ottawa's not in a position right now to be seen as a team that's going to contend for a cup. And Montreal, they're still in development as well. So basically Toronto would get that by default. And also through the fact they have a pretty good forward core, and there's some potential on the blue line. There's definitely the goaltender, I think, who can take them far. Out west, you've got Edmonton, where you've got McDavid, you've got Draisaitl, you've got a very good team forming around the Oilers. And it's tempting to say, well, the Oilers would clearly be the team that's most likely to win the Stanley Cup out of the Western teams, but I still get this feeling about the Jets. I do. And I don't think they win it this year, so don't think I'm going crazy based on last night. This is not some, well, look at that game Hellebuck put up against the Canucks. Clearly they're going to win the Cup. This is something I feel with the Jets and have felt for the last couple of years. Now, what's interesting is, back in 2015's Future Watch, the NHL Stanley Cup in 2018 was predicted to go to the Jets. So the Future Watch, I think it was the 2018 Jets. They said, here's your Stanley Cup future Stanley Cup champion Winnipeg Jets, because of the amount of young kids that were coming up for Winnipeg and how good they looked. And at the time I laughed. I scoffed. I was like, these guys haven't won anything ever. What are we talking? Future Stanley Cup champions. This is crazy. Just, the prospects have to play. We have to see how they come together. And we have to see how Kevin Cheveldayoff puts a roster together. The important thing here is simple. So we're going to look at their last 4 years, including this one. 2016, 2017, they missed the playoffs. They finished 40, 35, and 7, 87 points. And that was seen as a major disappointment, because this was a team that was expected to be making that next step. So 2017, 2018, 52, 20, and 10 was the record with 114 points. They finished second overall to the Nashville Predators. They got all the way to the conference finals, where they lost against the Vegas Golden Knights. But importantly, they had taken that next step. It caused a lot of people to have this increased feeling that the Jets are going to win it. And then last year, there was some disappointment. 47, 30, and 5, 99 points. They weren't as good, especially in the second half of last season. I thought their play was, not great. And then they lose in the first round against the Blues in a series nobody can win at home until Game 6, when St. Louis did it. And so it's a major gut punch to Winnipeg to see this team that had so much potential and had been seen as a future champion take that setback. And then we go through the Trouba deal. Now, Trouba's deal had been rumored for years. It was talked about how he was unhappy with Winnipeg and they were headed for a divorce. And so this season, we're like, okay, so they probably got a downgrade on the blue line because they got Pionk for Trouba. And while I liked Pionk with the Rangers last year, and I thought he was a good defenseman and definitely took some heat over it, I definitely saw Winnipeg as probably just falling right out. And 37, 28, and 6 was the record, 80 points. For winning percentage, they ended up being 9th. Now, they're in against the Calgary Flames, who could take them out. I'm not saying the Calgary Flames can't take them out in this best-of-5 series. I'm just looking ahead and saying, do I see the Flames as being future Stanley Cup champions? Not ahead of Winnipeg. So, I want to look at their roster, and I don't care if the lines are 100% correct. That's not the important thing in this video. What's important is their age. Connor's 23, Laine's 22, Kopp's 26, Harkins I've thrown on the left side. He's 23, he's an RFA this offseason, and I have Luoto on the depth chart at 22. Nobody over age 26 here. And I think Andrew Kopp is just starting to come into what he can be. And I think the depth they have is fantastic. Now, down the middle, that's where they have an issue, and this is something they do need to fix. This is something I think that if they're going to take that next step in the playoffs, they need to fix it. Scheifele's 27, Eakin's a UFA this offseason, he's 29. If they can talk Eakin into sticking around and not pay too much to keep Cody Eakin on this roster, and then the big question mark becomes Brian Little, who's 32 years of age, missed most of this season, still not good to go for the play-in round. And so his career at this point has to come into question, right? So Brian Little is the interesting one, and then I've got Perreault and Lowry as well. I love Lowry as a fourth-line center. I do. I think they're a center away from really truly being able to take that step and be that potential Stanley Cup champion. Now, whether they're able to fix this from within, whether they're able to find somebody else within this roster, they've tried trading in. Eakin's just the latest. They tried it with Stastny. It didn't work. They tried it with Hayes. It didn't work. This is their it seems like annual try to fix their problem down the center. And they need to find that permanent fix. They have in Scheifele a player who is guaranteed to get you a point a game. They have with Perreault a pretty solid third line player. And like I said, I love Lowry on the fourth. It is that second spot. Does Little come back healthy at some point? Does he finally get the respect that I think he deserves? I think Brian Little takes a lot of criticism I don't think is warranted because he's not an offensive dynamo, but he's a pretty good player as well. On the right side, you got Wheeler, who's 33. He's the elder statesman. You've got Ehlers at 24, who's just starting to show us exactly what he can be. The offense was always there. I think the all-around package with Ehlers this year was dynamite. Bork, 29. Appleton, 24. And then Vesalainen might be the unknown factor in this. He's 21 years of age. And they're a team that if he ends up being a miss in the first round, he ends up not being an NHL-level player, they can afford that. The Jets absolutely can afford to have had a miss in the first round. I like Appleton. Honestly, I really, really like their forward group. I think their forward group is comparable to some of the better forward groups in the NHL. But again, for them to be able to reach the Stanley Cup, for this team to be able to reach the Stanley Cup, I do think they need to add one center. Now, on the blue line, you got Morrissey, who's 25. Kulikov's 29. He's a UFA in the offseason. Beaulieu, 27. He's a UFA in the offseason. But you've got Heinola, who's 19 and was pushing his way onto the roster already. He likely gets top 4 minutes next year. And Logan Stanley. If he's going to play, it has to be soon. He's 22 years of age. So if we're going to declare him a bust, then there's some need for bringing in more defense. But there's going to be that anyways. Pionk on the right side is 25. Pullman's 27. Niku is 23. Looks like maybe he's finally earned a regular spot on the roster. DeMello's UFA. He's 27. Much like Eakin, if he wants to stick around, I think there'll be some interest from Cheveldayoff and the Jets. We'll see. In net, Hellebuck 27. Brossoit 27. Hellebuck's really come into his own this season and likely will win the Vezina Trophy. And so you've got everything you need. You've got Hellebuck. On the top four, you've got Morrissey, Pionk, and I guess if we have Heinola and if it's Pullman, could it be Niku? You know what? They probably need one more defenseman. I will say one more top four defenseman, and I will say at least one depth defenseman. Now, I don't have Spiza on the board. Spiza's UFA after this season. If Spiza decides to stick around, Spiza could very well be that depth defenseman for them as well. This team is close. The results don't show it right now. I think they underachieved a little bit this year, but when Dustin Byfuglien stepped out, I think it left a huge hole in this blue line that I don't think they were able to replace. But that $15 million in cap space they'll have this offseason is more than other teams are going to have. And a lot of this core is signed long-term. Yep, Patrick Laine, next year, they likely could have themselves a nightmare trying to keep Laine next summer. But maybe not. Maybe with the flat cap and all of the financial ramifications of everything that 2020 has wrought on us, maybe they can manage to talk him into another bridge deal. Now, he'll be 23 next year when they try to make that argument, and it might be tough to make it. But at least they're in a position where they're still going to have control over the situation because he's going to be a restricted free agent. I am really kind of bullish on the Winnipeg Jets. They're fun to watch. They're an enjoyable team to see grow. It's been great to watch Pionk and his development and Josh Morrissey. While we talk about guys who are underrated, how about Josh Morrissey? I think he's an underrated defenseman in the NHL and definitely deserves more consideration than he gets currently. He can play a lot of minutes. He can do a little bit of everything. He stepped up this year with the exit of Trouba, and I think did very, very well for himself. So yeah, I really think that of the teams in Canada, Winnipeg arguably has a roster that might be in the best position to win because they have the Vezina level goaltender. They're one defenseman short, which cap space can fix if they can bring in, say, Torrey Krug. Honestly, I know Petro's a St. Louis Blue. I know Blues fans that hate it, but if you add Pietrangelo to this blue line, that might be all you need to do. Pietrangelo, and then you fix your center spot. You get that second line center because every team that wins the Stanley Cup these days, pretty enviable depth down the middle. You need that. They can fix those two things. Jets could work some wonders, but we'll see. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I just thought this would be a fun video to do before hockey starts today because it's going to be another long day. And I don't want to just have previews and reviews. I want to have some more fun with it. And of course, tomorrow there's no hockey on at all, so I'll have more fun with it then. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding the Winnipeg Jets. And what do you think they would need to fix or replace in order to be a Stanley Cup contender again as they were just 2 years ago? And honestly, I don't think they're that far off. But let me know what you guys think. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.